What is good, guys? It's Ray J back with another video. And in this, I want to break down what's going on with Tesla, SPY, Nvda, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. I'm going to break down what's going on with the overall market, what you should be watching for as time progresses, as supports and levels when it comes to CPI. Before I break anything down, all this information, before I get into any more details, let me just mention a couple of things. I'm firstly not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Moomoo link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Moomoo, the link down below, and deposit $100 into the account, you're guaranteed up to 5 free stocks. The offer ends in just one day. Check it out before they run out. Anyways, Tesla's on a rip right now, up 5% during the pre-market, continuing to just pump like crazy. That's because all of the data that came out for today was aligned with expectations or below expectations for CPI. The GDP numbers in Europe were decent, and then when it comes to CPI, core CPI was at 0.2%, lower than expected. So that's very, very good data. Core CPI year over year was 4%. That's aligned with expectations. Inflation month for month was 0% in terms of its growth. So that's aligning with expectations. And then the inflation rate year over year was 3.2%, lower than expected. So everything was below expectations or as expected, and the market is loving it. A couple of things to know about the market right now is that Chrysler's owner, Stellantis, they're basically off a new deal with the UAW. Amazon may be cutting more jobs by about like another 180, and it may just continue as time goes on. The Home Depot announced earnings relatively well. And then besides that, the market's off to a good start thanks to these very, very decent looking CPI numbers. So let's break down Tesla. How is Tesla looking? Tesla right now is looking bullish. So we have a nice inverse head and shoulders like structure that is developed on the chart and it's continuing to rip to the upside. We could see this thing just continue to push and start filling a lot of these gaps. If you look at Tesla, you will notice that we're at this gap resistance. We're getting very close to gap resistance. I think we're actually above it right now. And we have this unfilled gap all the way up to 242. We might just see Tesla try to fill that gap. So we could see Tesla pump even more. And I'm anticipating more potential upside if it keeps trying to break above this resistance. Now, SPY is also ripping. The market's ripping very hard after this CPI report. But here's some levels to watch for basically. So on Tesla, we're going to be watching this resistance right here at 236.5. If we end up breaking it, if we get a big break above this, right, then we got decent CPI numbers. The market's loving it. Tesla can see 238. If we get above 238, we're going to see 240 and then 242.5 and then 245. The unfilled gap could take Tesla into the 240. So I believe there's a good chance of that attempting to happen over the next few days, if not even as soon as today, if we keep breaking out. But we have this resistance at 236 that's slowing it down a bit. If we reject off this 236.5 area just a bit, make sure you watch support at 235. If we break below that, the next critical support to watch will be closer to like 232.5 to 232. Below that, we have 230. It might retrace just a little bit, but it could continue pushing higher, especially if you break out of this resistance. And we're going to be looking for that gap fill into the 240s. Tesla looks bullish for the time being. Now, what about SPY? How is SPY looking? So SPY is continuing to rip. We look pretty strong right now as the market's breaking out of key resistance. The bearish divergence remains, but there's no sign of it playing out yet. And we're just going to be reading the trend and just trying to be unbiased. So SPY has this resistance up here at 446.5 to 446.8. If we break this, if we break out of the 446s, watch 447.5, 448.6 to 448.5, that entire range. If we break above that, we'll be on our way to 450 to fill our gap up to 451 because we have this gap over here. We have this unfilled gap on SPY right here that could end up filling into the 450s if we get above 448.6. All right, so that's going to be another potential play. Right now, it's favoring the bulls a lot more. We're continuing to push nicely. If we break down, if this thing starts cooling off a bit, make sure you watch support at 446 down here. If we lose this, there's 445 flat. 444 is critical support. This is going to be a very important support now. If we were to break this 444 area, then it's going to come back down to 442.5 and then 441 to treat this trend line right here. So we had this critical resistance, very, very strong resistance since the summer. This white trend line we just broke out of, and that's bullish. So now, We favor the bulls. We might see this thing try to get close to 450. We still look quite strong. On the QQQ, we're continuing to break out. We're going to be watching this thing try to get up to this like 385 area. Watch resistance at 384.8 to 385, 386.35, 387, 388, and 390. For support, watch 383.5, 382.8, 382.5, and then 380 below that. Right now, we look bullish, especially thanks to Nvda pushing alongside Apple and a couple of others. For Nvda, watch 497 as resistance. We're trying to get above that 498 area, not 497, 498. Then we have 500 above that, 504.22, 508. Then we have this trend line of resistance. 500 is going to be some tight resistance too, so we're going to be watching that carefully. Nvidia could try to break that as the market is continuing to look strong. But watch strong resistance at 500. We'll see how that reacts. For support, watch 495. If we lose that, we could sink right back down to 491 to 490. Then we have 488, 485, and beyond that. Right now, we favor the bulls, so there's going to be more upside coming. Last but not least, for Apple stock, we look bullish. It's continuing to break out. I'm going to be watching. Basically, we have resistance at 187.5. If we break above that, watch 188, 188.5, 189, and then 190 above that. For support, you're going to be watching 187.5 as well. I think we just got above that, so now it's support 187.25, and then below that, we have 186.6 to 186.75. 186.2, 185.5, and then 185 as key support. That's where we have this imbalance. So we're going to be watching this. We're going to gap up. Let's see if this thing comes down to fill some of its gap or if it continues to go. It's holding up very nicely. It might just try to continue pushing for 190. It looks like it favors the bulls a bit more on Apple, but we'll be watching this carefully anyways. All right, so that's it for the video. Hopefully this video was very helpful for you guys. I want to just like finish this as fast as I can so that I can upload it. The market's about to open in just a couple of minutes. Last thing I just wanted to mention was I want to look at the VIX just real quick. I think it's important I go over this. On the 4-hour time frame, the VIX has this gap down here. It looks like the VIX could end up coming back down to fill that gap, and it's going to continue to sink a lot lower. The SQQQ is already tanking. We're in the 16s now. It might just continue to drop. It's looking bearish. So that's aligning very well. And the dollar is just sinking pretty hard too. We're all the way down at 104. So everything is aligning and favoring the bulls so far. We're getting lots of confirmations to the upside, and Tesla's continuing to rip. So I anticipate more upside, guys. Make sure you watch your charts carefully. And I hope this video was helpful for everyone out there. All right. Have a great day. The market can be very crazy, but just read the trend, read the charts, and do what's best for your own portfolios. Thanks again, and peace out.